Hey friends, it's Gina. Welcome to my channel, The Woven Path. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. As you can see, I have a little stack of knits here, and I just wanted to do a little my favorite knits of 2024. It's not a lot, it's a small stack. I knitted and crocheted way more than this, but these are my favorites. And they all happen to be garments. So let's jump right in. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna show them to you and try them on. Hey guys, it's a little bit of time that has passed from the first clip to this clip. I had to make a cup of tea. It is 20 degrees where I'm at. And for me, that's cold. I don't like the cold. There's still snow on the ground, which is now ice actually. And I haven't left my house for like 3 days. Because why? I literally shopped before the storm, so I didn't have to go out. We'll be in a cold spell for a couple more days. I'm really hoping next week it warms back up, because it's really cold for us. I'm drinking some chai. If you have some tea, cheers. And let me jump right in to the knits. Also, I forgot to say like, comment, and subscribe, please. I greatly appreciate it. Tell YouTube that you want to see me so that I can see you, so that we can talk. Anyway, I'm going to show you the garments that I made in 2024 that were my favorites. And I have one accessory, just one. And it wasn't in my little stack because it's right here. This is the Sophie Shawl. And this is the only shawl that I've made. I made 3 Sophie scarves, but they were in the previous year. So this was the only Sophie thing that I made in 2024. I used Misha and Puff in 2 colors, the DK. I don't remember what the colors were, but I will put that down below in the little notes for what I used. And I like it, as you can see, I did 2 colors. I split it down the middle so that I could have like a little like neutral Cruella de Vil vibe. And this is the only accessory that I made last year that I kept and that I loved. And now onto the garments. I'm going in order in how they were made in the year. And the first one is going to be something that I actually started in 2023, but I didn't complete until 2024. And honestly, the bulk of it was knit in 2024, so it counts. And it is my favorite sweater. And it is my Monday sweater by Petite Knit. Well, no, this is the only second Petite Knit thing that I've knit. And I love it. I have worn this the most. This is probably my first knit sweater that I'm like truly happy with. I knit it, you can't really tell, but I did hold a mohair with this, and I couldn't tell you the names of the yarn because I bought these in the summer of 2023 when I was in Italy, and I went to this massive yarn warehouse type place. It's actually a distributor, I think. And I bought like bags, and these were 2 different bags, a bag of mohair and a bag of merino wool. So I used a white base, and then the color is the mohair. And I knit it per pattern. I didn't really change anything. The only thing that I think I changed was the length of the sweater. I think she had you knit it way longer than I actually knit mine's, because I wear a lot of high-waisted things and I just don't want my sweaters to be too long. So actually all my sweaters have this modification where I knit them kind of shorter than the pattern requires if it's a full-length sweater. If it's a crop sweater, most of the time I actually knit it longer than the crop because the crop is usually too short. I have some girlies here, and we have to compensate sometimes for them. But this is the first knit I wear all the time. I took it with me on my vacation in Italy, and I wore it a lot. It's well loved. I'm really debating about making another one. I had bought a very beautiful teal merino and mohair to pair together that same trip. And I intended to make something else, but honestly, I might make another one of these with that yarn because I honestly wear this to death. And it's been holding up really well. My second knit, and I've been wanting to knit this for a long time, and this is the Tulip Sweater by Melanie Hoffman. I think she also goes by B Mandarins. I don't know if she still goes by that anymore. And sorry for the weird light. I am chasing the sun, I guess, as you can say, because it is setting and I'm trying to get every little second of it that I can get. But anyway, yes. I don't wear it as much as I would like to, but I think it's because I didn't have a lot of bottoms that I really enjoyed wearing with this. I do now. And I knit it as per pattern. I use Manchelopis, I think it's pronounced. I'll put it down below. Everything that I mentioned, I will link in the description bar down below so you can find it. This is the Verde Botella colorway, the darker green. They've released a bunch of other colors, and at the time they only had 2 greens, a light one and a dark one, and I went with the dark one. I used 2, I believe, 2 1/4 pallets of the yarn held double because it comes off of the little plate in 2 strands, and I used both strands. And if you don't know, this yarn is unspun. It was a bit of a learning curve to work with the unspun, and really the only difficulties I had was the beginning, getting used to my tension with the ribbing and the Italian bind on that I did. And then I was just careful not to pull too much when I was doing the cast off. So this is her. I love it a lot, and I do intend to wear this a lot more this year now that I have some pants to wear with it, because if you can't tell, I really made this pretty cropped. In hindsight, I wish I made it maybe like a ½ inch longer, but it is what it is. I still love it. I love to wear it with turtlenecks. It's a great layering piece. And because I use the unspun, it's just super lightweight and easy to wear. Oh, there was a modification that I did on this. So the sleeves, as you can see, are straight. In her pattern, they're tapered. I ripped these sleeves out 4 times because it was just too tight. I felt like my arms were being suffocated, and I have really tiny arms. So for them to feel squished and squeezed was wild to me. So I just decided to knit the sleeve straight, do the ribbing, do my Italian bind off, and call it a day. And honestly, I like a straight sleeve, so it didn't really bother me much. In between that was this, but I've already talked about this. Now we're on to my 3rd favorite knit of the year, and this is a summertime project. I casted this on in my birthday, which was in June. I finished it towards the end of the year. It took me a while. I kept putting it down, picking it up, and at the very end of the year, I say I finished it because I wove in all the ends. All the ends. There were so many. And it is the striped hype dress in all her glory. She's a long girl. She is long. And I love this. This is my 2nd time making a dress, 1st time knitting a dress. The first dress I did was crocheted. That was in 2023, so that's why it's not in this video. But I saw this pattern. Actually, what I did, I saw the maker of this pattern doing a video about the dress, and I was like, I need it. I need to have it. And so I went to make it, and I treated myself to it as a birthday cast on, and I used a worsted weight instead of a DK. Don't ask me why, it's just what I used. And I used, what was the yarn that I got? Michael's Loops and Threads, whatever their cotton is that come in the little things. I used that. And I will list the colors. I actually made a Ravelry project on this so you can go and see what colors I used, but I love this. I did a lot of planning. I drew out how I wanted the colors and really played around with it, and it came out really great. I say it's a favorite even though I haven't worn it, but I love it and I have tried it on and I adore this piece, and I can't wait to wear it this spring because it was a labor of love. As you can see, there's a lot of ends. There was a lot of ends here, and I did not weave as I went. Mostly out of fear that I was going to rip it out. So I didn't weave as I go, which I usually somewhat do, especially on something like this with so many color changes. But I didn't. Lesson learned. I want to knit the sweater version of this because I have a lot of bits and bobs of yarn, and I think it's a good stash buster if you're using scraps. But that's her. Love this project to death. Such a fun knit. If you have the patience or you just have a lot of yarn sitting around that actually goes together, I highly recommend the stripe hype dress or the stripe hype sweater. They're both great. I'm pretty sure they're written exactly the same, except one is longer and has some hip increases, which will be the dress. I knit the dress as patterned. There was no modifications. I did it as it needed to be done. I had thought about leaving it sleeveless because at one point I was starting to burn out. And I was like, I am tired of knitting this. And I was also afraid that I was going to run out of yarn, even though I did all the math. And I was afraid to be playing yarn chicken. But in fact, I was not playing yarn chicken. And I had enough yarn. I actually had some left over. And in hindsight, I did actually, now that I think about it, there is a modification. And it really is, I only knitted it maybe 2 or 3 stripes shorter than it was supposed to be. And that was because I wanted my color rotation at the end to end a certain way. And I didn't want it to repeat the last 2 colors. Don't ask, it was a weird color thing. That's just how I did it. And I really loved how it turned out. It's the perfect length. I'm gonna insert the video. You'll see what it looks like on. I'm sorry, I'm so thirsty. It was a great knit. Highly recommend. And my last and final favorite knit of 2024, which will be the very last thing that I finished in 2024. And it was right before I left for Italy for the winter break. And it is my Louvre Sweater by Petite Knit. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. This was another one of those patterns that I had been wanting to knit for a long time. And I finally did it at the end of the year. This project was a part of my crazy idea of that I was going to knit 9 things last year. It was a part of my Make 9. And my Make 9 was pretty ambitious. And this was the only thing besides my Monday sweater that I actually started and completed in 2024. That was from that list. And this was knit out of, once again, kind of mystery yarn. I don't know where the yarn came from. It was gifted. I used 2 cones of yarn. Well, not 2 cones, but I had 2 cones of this yarn. I only used one of them, but I had to split it because it was so thin. So I held 2 strands double to make this sweater to hit gauge. I can't talk today. The yarn blend is a Shetland poly. So besides the fact that there's polymade in it, you know, it's just gonna hold up. It's gonna hold up well. I wore this sweater a lot already. I took it with me to Italy, which was the rush on me finishing it. It took me about 2 months to do this sweater, and that's only because I was busy doing a bunch of other things. I had commission crochets to do and et cetera, that kind of helped me off. And honestly, I was just struggling on Sleeve Island for a little bit because these are some pretty hefty sleeves. No modifications to the pattern besides the fact that I did knit it shorter. That is it. I didn't want it to be long. I wanted it to be cropped. The same length that I knit my Monday sweater is the same that I did for this one. And then I also shortened the sleeves just a tiny bit in the stockinette area, and I knitted the ribbing as per pattern and did my favorite, the Italian bind off everywhere that I had to do it. And I love this sweater. I love it so much. I don't know if you can tell, I'm a neutral. I love a good brown. I wasn't always like this. I have a lot of pink in my stash. That's like my pop of color. The striped pipe dress is maybe the most colorful thing that I have knit in a long time, with a bunch of colors in the same project, which is probably why I like it so much. But anyway, I love this piece. If you want a really simple basic to work on and to throw into your closet, I highly recommend this and the Monday sweater. Like, I wear these to death. I will be making this sweater again. I will say it's a lot of knitting. It's a lot of stockinette. And I think next time I might do some striping. I might throw in a little color work, maybe a texture, even though a texture would make it even a longer knit, but I digress. I loved this. And even though this was knit at the very end of the year, I knew it was going to be a favorite. Anyway, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by my storage being full, was that I was extremely obsessed with knitting the Louvre sweater and very pleased with the outcome of the product. And I wear it a lot, and I highly recommend you knit it if you have the yarn and you have the patience and you like a little boxy turtleneck, mock turtleneck vibe. And anyway, that's it. This is a short one. I didn't have a lot to share because I'm just picky about my knits, and I knit kind of slow. And also it's slow fashion. It's not meant to be fast. So if you only knit one sweater in 2024, give yourself a round of applause, because this is not easy. Regardless of what you see on social media and on YouTube, this is not easy, and this takes a long time. Pace yourself and have fun with it. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, thanks for watching this far. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what was your favorite knit or crochet or any kind of fiber craft/craft project that you made in 2024. Let me know if you've knit any of the things that I've shown you in this video, or if you are thinking about knitting them, let me know. I would love to know what you're working on right now. And that's all. Ciao.